Southeast Asia is composed of 11 countries, of impressive diverse in terms of religion, culture, tradition, history, and especially politics. It is one of the most dynamic areas of the world economically and politically, factors which largely account for its growing international significance.
The Kingdom of Cambodia is one of the countries in Southeast Asia. This country is known and dubbed as the Kingdom of Wonder.
The name Cambodia derives from the French word Cambodge, which comes from the mere word Kampuchea, meaning born of Kambu. During the socialist regimes of democratic Cambodia in the year 1975 to 1979, and the People's Republic of Cambodia in the year 1979 to 1989. The country was known internationally as Cambodia, but more recent governments have returned to using Cambodia. An official name in English is now the Kingdom of Cambodia.
When it comes to religion, majority of the Cambodians follow Theravada Buddhism. It teaches that life and death in this world are intertwined through the concept of reincarnation. Every person lives a life as a worldly being, and depending on their behavior will come back in their next life as a higher or lower being.
The said Cambodian identity was created during the French colonial presence. The French fixed boundaries, systematized government and ecclesiastical bureaucracies, promoted the empire as national symbol, encouraged an increasingly elaborate ceremonial rule for the king, and introduced secular education.
The Hanok government was recognized as the sole legitimate authority within Cambodia at the Geneva Conference in 1954 to reach a political settlement to the First Indochina War. That decision prevented Vietnam from gaining any regional power in Cambodia. During this time, the Cambodians were forbidden to belong to other political movements. The effect of the move was to draw thousands of people away from the Democrats. During this time, General Nol plotted to depose Sihanouk, whose credibility with radicals had evaporated following his renewal of diplomatic relations with the United Nations.
The first thing we should learn is the difference between governance and government. Governance has been defined to refer to structures and processes that are designed to ensure accountability, transparency, responsiveness, rule of law, stability, equity, and inclusiveness, empowerment, and broad-based participation. On the other hand, government has the power to exercise the political authority, affairs, etc. of political unit, people, etc., as well as perform certain function for this unit or body, including the action of governing, political rule, and administration.
The politics of Cambodia are defined within the framework of constitutional monarchy, in which the king serves as the head of the state and the prime minister is the head of the government. Cambodia is a constitutional monarchy with a unitary structure and a parliamentary form of government. The constitution, which prescribes the governing framework, was promulgated in September 1993 by the Constituent Assembly that resulted from the 1993 general election conducted under the United Nations Transitional Authority in Cambodia, or the UNTAC. The Assembly adopted basic principles and measures mandated under the Paris Peace Agreements into the text of the Constitution. Assimilated into the governing charter, these provisions place the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, declare Cambodia's status as a sovereign, independent and neutral state, enshrine a liberal, multi-party democracy with fair and periodic elections, guarantee respect for human rights, and provide for an independent judiciary.
Executive branch. The Prime Minister of Cambodia is a representative from the ruling party of the National Assembly. The Prime Minister is appointed by the King on the recommendations of the President and Vice President of the National Assembly. The Prime Minister must receive a given a vote of confidence by the National Assembly. The Prime Minister is officially the head of the government in Cambodia. The Prime Minister appoints a Council of Ministers. Officially, the Prime Minister's duties include the chairing meetings of the Council of Ministers, Cambodia's version of a cabinet, and appointing and leading a government. The legislative branch of the Cambodian government is made up of a bicameral parliament. The National Assembly has 125 members, elected for a 5-year term by proportional representation. The judiciary is tasked with the protection of rights and liberties of the citizens, and with being an impartial arbiter of disputes. The Supreme Court is the highest court of the country and takes appeals from lower courts on the question of law. A separate body called the Constitutional Council was established to provide interpretations of the constitution of the law, and also to resolve disputes related to election of members of the legislature.
The Senate has 61 members. 2 of these members are appointed by the king, 2 are elected by the lower house of the government, and the remaining 57 are elected popularly by the functional constituencies. Members in this house serve a 6-year term. The official duty of the parliament is to legislate and make laws. Bills passed by the parliament are given to the king, who gives the proposed bills royal assent. The king does not have veto power over bills passed by the National Assembly, and this cannot withhold royal assent. The upper house of the Cambodian legislature is called the Senate. It consists of 61 members. 2 of these members are appointed by the king, 2 are elected by the lower house of the government, and the remaining 57 are elected popularly by electors from provincial and local governments. The National Assembly also has the power to dismiss the Prime Minister and his government by the 2/3 vote, no confidence.
The National Assembly is the lower house of the Parliament of Cambodia. It comprises 125 members that are elected for 5-year term by proportional representation, using provinces as constituencies of 1 to 18 members. The country has constitutional independent judiciary composed of lower courts, an appeal court, and a Supreme Court. However, the judiciary has been closely allied to Cambodia's ruling party and often has been suspected of corruption. A 9-member of Constitutional Council determines the constitutionality of legislation. It also resolves electoral disputes. The Supreme Council of Magistrates appoints the disciplined judges. There is also a separate military justice system.
The 1993 Constitution provides for the universal suffrage for citizens 18 years and older. All citizens 25 years and older have the right to hold elective office.
The king is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces called the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces, or the RCAF, which include the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The RCAF was created in 1993 through the merger of Cambodian government's military forces and the two non-communist resistant armies. The Khmer Rouge and the Royalist forces were absorbed in the 1999 RCAF. It is no secret that Cambodia had a turbulent past. The country has been changing its name whenever a new government came into power within the past 60 years. Starting and ending with the Kingdom of Cambodia, the Cambodian flag is the only national flag in the world featuring a building.
Taking into account indirect contributions such as investment in tourism, related projects from other industries, the World Travel and Tourism Council has estimated tourism's total contribution of Cambodia's GDP at 32.4% of GDP in 2017, the highest among all member states of all Association of Southeast Asian Nations.